Yo, hey there, y'all. It's Kevin, Big K Horror, and I am going to do, or I've been asked to do, my favorite top creature features list. So I'm going to do, or attempt to do, a creature features list. And it's funny because a creature feature is a lot of different things, you know? Things that don't involve mainly a slasher killer or a religious thing or possession, you know. It's the other stuff. It's the ghouls, the goblins, the ghosts, you know, that the ghouls, the goblins, the monsters, that kind of thing. Now, I just want to denote that I'm going to omit the past old school 50s Adam Age, you know, creature features from this list, and as well as the old Universal movies, because a lot of the Universal movies to me are creature features as well. This is going to be more of the modern stuff from maybe like the 70s, 80s on up. But I will be doing a list of like old school like 50s, 60s creature features one day. So I'll be doing those. But for now, it's going to be more of the special effects extravaganza type ones. So let's move on with that. Okay, for starters, I am going to start out. Now, this list is not going to go, it's not going to be really put in any particular order, which I do apologize because I know some of you guys out there like a particular order of what I find the best, the least favorite to the most favorite, or, you know, whatever. But sometimes it's real hard for me to really kind of put down on the numbers, which one's which. So I'm just going to, I have like a list, I think, of like 12 movies here. I'm going to kind of showcase or whatever. One of the movies I want to showcase is missing. I can't find it in my collection. It's somewhere in my room, though, and that is Frank Henenlotter's Basket Case. But in this case, I'm just going to move on with some other ones. So let's move on. Okay, for starting out my creature features list, I'm going to start out with a movie that's been on many of my lists before, but this is no different because this fits into the category and it's a favorite. And that is the hybrid horror film Night of the Creeps. This definitely fits into this category, and it's definitely one of my favorite creature feature films, you know, involving aliens, slugs, zombies, slashers, you know, all that stuff. But the main ingredient here being the alien slugs infecting people. So that right there, creature feature. Alright, next up is this little Asian horror film that could, and I think it went on to maybe spawn our own Cloverfield. I'm not sure about that, but this is The Host. And this Asian horror film right here is a damn fun creature feature film from beginning to end. And I was a fan from the get-go. Loved it. Alright. Next up is one that's also made my list plenty of times for a favorite remake and favorite of all, you know, underrated horror, you know, sci-fi horror, but it definitely fits this list, and that is Chuck Russell's 1988 remake of The Blob. You know, come on, where else are you going to see a guy get sucked down a drain, you know, in full-on gore? Fucking awesome, I tell you. Alright, next up, I think most of us horror hounds will definitely agree that this is a grand creature feature film from the late 80s, directed by none other than the special effects master wizard Stan Winston, and that is Pumpkinhead. Yeah, this movie really delivers, and it's a damn great revenge tale right here. Definitely a very great rural revenge tale. Okay, next up is a little horror film that, Okay, next up is, let's see here. Okay, now some people may not consider this quite a creature feature horror film, but in my book it kind of is. It's a sequel to a very popular 80s Italian horror film, but the sequel to me is much more goblins than demons. So therefore to me it kind of goes in the creature feature thing. Plus it involves some like demonic looking like creature dogs and stuff like that. So whatever. But I am talking about Lamberto Bava's Demons 2. Alright, again, to me this fits more in the creature feature more than the first one did. That's just my personal opinion. Alright. Alright, next up is the very classic mid-80s PG-13 kid-friendly horror film, Critters. I think all of us can agree that this is an awesome creature feature film as well from the 80s. Effects driven as well, and you know, just fucking badass cool, you know. Alright, next up is another one that's made my list a couple of times, and that is The Deadly Spawn. I think this really fits into creature feature, you know, more alien as well, but creature feature category. Very gross, very awesome, involving a horror geek and his family fighting off a bunch of mouth snapping aliens that eat people. Alright. Next up is this title, and I just got this title recently, and I watched it, and I did a review on this title actually. But man, come on, this movie is fucking badass. When I say creature feature, it really is creature feature. That involves everything from zombies to ghouls, goblins, spider ladies, everything, and that is none other than Spookies. So if you come across this movie Spookies on Amazon or eBay or something like that, get it. I kid you not. For all the effects heavy fans out there who are into 80s heavy effects, get it. Okay? Kid you not. Okay, next up is this little creature feature film. It's Shout put it out with a double feature with another zombie movie, but I'm going to feature on this creature feature film itself, and that is Terror Vision. I think this is definitely a great little creature alien film involving a family that gets menaced by a bunch of aliens through the satellite dish and television set. Alright, very mid-80s. Alright, so down to the last three titles, and the third to the last title is it's pretty grim, and, you know, urban, and that is Chud, Cannibal Humanistic Underground Dwellers. Okay? Good cast of John Hurd and of course Daniel Stern, can't go wrong. But about a bunch of people a bunch of homeless people going missing in the city streets of New York and underground of New York in the old subway systems, and finding out that they are mutating over into man-eating creatures. Definitely a creature feature flick right here. I'm telling you, kind of a slow burn, but good. All right. Second to the last one. This little creature feature flick I recently saw, I believe, last year, and I thought it was fucking amazing. And that is this little Salt Lake City, Utah lens creature feature flick involving the mines called The Boogans. Early 80s classic flick from the producers of Silent Night, Deadly Night. And this is an awesome little creature feature flick. If you've never seen The Boogans, I highly guarantee you to check it out. Especially for you Prom Night fans out there, if you're a fan of Wendy. Boop, 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 right here. She's in it. Alright. So last but not least, my all-time favorite creature feature flick of all time. And I saw this movie many times when it came out in the theater. And I know it has some bit of a past and history to it, but I'm talking about the flick itself. And to me, it mixes the perfect sense of creature feature plus old school universal horror monster. And I think this movie really gets my list on number one. And that is Jeepers Creepers. Alright, I think most of us can agree that this is a creature feature flick right here, and a damn good one. Alright, so that's my list of favorite creature features.